Welcome everybody, thanks for tuning into theLoamWolf.com. My name is Drew and today we're going to be taking a look at my favorite new brakes and the rest of our team's favorite new brake. That is the TRP DH-R EVO. Together, our team have been running 3 sets of these brakes for the last 8 months or so on 3 different bikes, and they've won us all over. They are top-notch, powerful, reliable, and do a great job of managing heat and working well no matter how much we abuse them. So we thought we'd do a quick video and kind of just get into some of the features that we think are really awesome about these brakes, stuff that we hope some other manufacturers will take note and start implementing in their brakes moving forward, and kind of give you some personal experience, I guess, and feedback over our months of testing. So before we get into all those details, I just want to let you guys know we did do a dissected feature on these brakes when they first came out, maybe about 6 to 8 months ago. So I'm not going to go super into the weeds on the tech, the features, and all of the design stuff about these brakes, because we've already done that. We will link that video down below. Be sure to check it out. There is a lot of really cool technology in these brakes, and that video did a much better job than we're going to do today at addressing them. Some of the key points about these brakes that are really cool are they're forged, CNC'd machined. They've got a very nice polished finish and look. They just kind of ooze high performance and power and just race pedigree, and that's, you know, no surprise based on where these brakes came from, the riders that helped design them, and their intended applications. As you can imagine, they are called the DH-R EVOs. They are not only downhill brakes. In fact, 2 of the bikes that we've been testing these on are eBikes. They are e-bike rated and approved, and they played a very big part in the development of this brake, because e-bikes weigh more, they go fast, and you get a lot more downhill time on an e-bike. So being able to manage heat, be durable, and cover more downhills and more miles is a hugely important thing when it comes to bike, maintenance, fun, and obviously stopping power. TRP did a great job in making a product that holds up to abuse, whether you are racing a 29er downhill at a World Cup or just a 210-pound guy on a 180 mil e-bike just self-shuttling downhills all day. So this is the brake for you, no doubt. Moving on from the forged CNC calipers and pistons, we're going to talk about the dimpled lever. Definitely a nice tactile feel. Doesn't really like rub your fingers raw, but gives you a nice kind of assertive grip. Really like that large knurled lever reach adjuster. It always works. I don't know if we're the only ones, but sometimes like those SRAM ones, they just won't turn. Like you gotta get needle nose pliers and break them free, but not with these. They will always turn when you need them. Cold fingers, warm fingers, it don't matter. They will turn, and what's cool actually is that you don't need to turn that much. The brakes perform and are reliable, so once you get them set up, you really don't need to worry about adjusting them. They pretty much hold true. So let's see, some of the other cool features about the new brakes are the rotor sizes and the rotor thickness. TRP goes up to 223 rotor diameter, and they've widened or thickened their rotors to 2.3 millimeters. So by having that thicker, wider rotor, you're better able to manage the heat that is going into the brake system. So you're gonna not have the risk of warping your rotors on long descents. Your brakes are going to last longer. They're not going to get fade nearly as quickly. And again, your rotors just aren't going to come out of true and start, rubbing on your brake pads at the bottom of a, screaming downhill. So by having obviously more material, you are adding weight. More material also means it can dissipate and handle heat a lot better. So there are pros and cons to be weighed depending on your application and goals for riding. That being said, we are huge fans of the 223, and we love having a thicker rotor because it's still true and they're not rubbing, and we've got some extended very steep test tracks that we spent a lot of time riding our 50-pound e-bikes on, and the brakes didn't fade. We tried. We weren't glazing over pads. We weren't scorching rotors, things that we quite frankly do on all of our other test bikes. So it was really cool to see how much better these brakes are at managing heat. That being said, if you do, boil your system, which is, it's certainly possible and it will happen, right? I mean, the system works off of friction, and friction creates heat. So you're heating up your brakes, and when you do need to do a bleed, there's a pretty awesome bleed system on these brakes. The oil flow has been improved greatly. It makes the bleed process better. TRP has worked with scientists, engineers in the lab to create a better viscosity mineral oil that handles heat a lot better, and essentially raise the boiling point of the mineral oil, so your system again is just going to work better for longer. And speaking of bleeding, as I said, we've had 3 sets of brakes on 3 different bikes, 2 of which are 160 and 180 millimeter e-bikes, and the other on this aggressively built Norco site behind me. We have not had to bleed any of them over the course of the last 6 to 8 months, depending on the bike. There was one brake that we did have a little issue with when we were kind of closing this back up. We did pinch the kind of rubber seal, around that master cylinder. So that caused us a little bit of issues, so make sure you kind of take extra care when you are putting the brakes back together, and keep that out. But beyond that, once we got that issue sorted, we've had no problems with our brakes. They've been stored hanging up right on a wall, haven't really had any issues with air feeling like it's in the lines, no fade, no real need to make us want to bleed these brakes. And that's 3 brakes, 8 months, 6 to 8 months of testing, and I'd probably say at least 30,000 feet of descending on each set of brakes. So they've definitely seen some use over the last few months. Obviously, that performance comes at a little bit of a weight cost. The brakes weigh about 310 grams. They retail for $239.99, and the thicker rotors retail from $42.99 to $54.99, depending on the diameter. And they don't always play super nicely with all shifters, dropper posts, and e-bike power modules. Those are kind of our only real complaints, are the fact that we've had some bikes where we just couldn't quite get it without a lot of work to get the shifter and the brake levers and the dropper and exactly where we wanted, but we were able to get it to a spot to where we were comfortable. It just took a little bit of work and some kind of back and forth thing before we landed on that happy spot. So I think just the large size of the brakes just kind of creates a little bit of issues in some applications. Not always, 2 of the 3 bikes are fine. One just caused us a little bit of problem, and it was with a SRAM AXS shifter. So those are obviously kind of large and probably pretty rare. I know we wouldn't have the money to buy an AXS system, but if you are running SRAM AXS, you might have a little bit of problem there. If you're not, shouldn't be an issue to worry about. So that, in a kind of quick and dirty nutshell, are the TRP DH-R EVOs. Again, our new favorite brake. Hopefully brands will make thicker rotors, 2.3 millimeters, guys. This is the way to go. Reliability, heat management, power, all there. Maybe not quite the modulation of some of the SRAM brakes out there. It's tough to say. It could just be that they have so much more power that even though they have modulation, it just feels different because they stop so much more aggressively. But the reality is the weight, I guess maybe the price, and the chance that my AXS equipped bikes might have a little bit of a cockpit issue are very small penalties to pay for a powerful reliable brake that will stop me when I need to stop and let me ride faster and push harder for longer. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for lots more reviews in the future, and we hope to see you out on the trails.